If you've ever had Christmas in the Northern Hemisphere, maybe in the US or the UK, I bet you at some time in your life you've said, that's it, next Christmas we're going away somewhere hot. It costs just the same. And maybe you've thought about going to New Zealand. Because in New Zealand, apparently everything is just wonderful at Christmas. It's sunny and everyone goes to the beach and eats off the barbecue. It's perfect. Or is it? There is nothing more depressing than January the 1st. It's just like, oh no, that's it, it's over. Yeah. In this week's show, we're going to dive in and explore 6 things about New Zealand Christmas and discover whether Christmas in New Zealand really is that much better.
Cut it.
Welcome to the NZ Ahead podcast. Everything you need to know about moving to and living in New Zealand.
There's a whole world here.
So nice to be with you again.
You'll be right.
Kia ora. We call it Aotearoa around here, bro.
We are your hosts, Liz and Brian.
Amazing New Zealand in the southern seas.
See, that's where I belong. That's home.
Today, we're going to be talking to you about New Zealand Christmas. Is New Zealand Christmas, is Christmas better in New Zealand?
Yes, of course it is.
And we're here in front of our Christmas tree. You do not know how excited we have been to record this episode for you. We've been thinking about it all year, actually. If you haven't been to this channel before, we're Liz and Brian, husband and wife. And we talk about all things travel, New Zealand, living in New Zealand. We moved to New Zealand 12 years ago from the UK, from England. And we just love to talk to people and help people, you know, get a feel of what life is like in New Zealand.
Yeah, just mainly our experiences, our point of view, and all those sort of things. Yeah.
So we're going to jump right in because we've got, how many have we got? We've got 6 points. Just to give you a little backstory, like I said, we're from the UK, so we have experienced, how old were you when you moved to New Zealand?
12 years ago. Oh,
20?
22?
Yeah. We've experienced 40 Christmases in the UK.
Well, to me,
I was 38 when I moved
me, it was
here.
46 Christmases.
Right.
But
So
I can't remember the first few.
A lot of Christmases in the Northern Hemisphere.
And not the other
ones. But in 2018, we took the kids travelling around the world for a year and we made sure that we went and spent that Christmas in New York. So what we're going to be concentrating on today is a US Christmas, a real traditional US cold Christmas in the Northern Hemisphere compared to the Southern Hemisphere. New Zealand Christmas.
Yep. And even parts of America which are in the tropics are still a bit warm. Like my brother lives in Florida and we did see him before Christmas, but
Yeah. But for Christmas, we were in New York.
Upstate New York.
Yeah. Is upstate New York the same as New York?
Wait, it was New York State.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's move straight on and see whether New Zealand Christmas is better. Right. Number 1. You're going to love this because I know all you lot out there love this topic. Food. Oh. Food on Christmas Day.
Yep.
So in New Zealand, the food is Brian's favourite. They like to have a nice traditional ham, don't they, Brian?
Yes.
You love that, don't you,
ham?
Yeah,
but they all talk about the ham, and it's just like, it's not really a Kiwi tradition. It's, what is it? It's Australian, isn't it? Bloody countdown supermarket, eh? Bring you some hams in. Let's get rid of them on the Kiwis.
Yeah, let's give us the Kiwis, that'll do.
They'll get them for Christmas. We won't.
Oh, God, I've gone red. Am I as red as my jumper? Right, can we please carry on, Brian? So, a Kiwi, a New Zealand, the big difference you will notice when you have Christmas dinner in New Zealand is everything is like salady, ham.
Just summery food.
Summery, because it's the middle of summer.
Who wants the big oven on with a roasty going in there and everything like that?
Well, we do, and that's what we're going to talk about now.
That's we're not Kiwi, though.
So, and we've had this debate with so many people, like, well, just to give you a little backstory, a couple of episodes ago, Brian, wasn't me, Brian said, I don't like Kiwi ham, I don't get it. And we had a mass of people saying to us, you're just not having it right. And thank you so much for all of you out there that sent us all those lovely recipes and they're like, try it like this, try it like that. But it's very salady, isn't it, Brian? The Kiwi Christmas
it's almost
dinner.
like I think they could make it 2 days before and then they wouldn't have to do anything on the day, like, you know. I think that's why they have salad.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, my
dad
dad used to cook the turkey a few weeks before
He did, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Because it was, I couldn't blame him sometimes, because you just sometimes on the day, you just can't be bothered to do anything,
Stress
can you?
is gone.
You know?
This year, we are desperately trying to think, what shall we have for Christmas dinner that, like Bryce said, just makes it easy. And I suppose a ham, you know, and a bit of salad.
Or throw something on the barbecue.
A few things on the barbecue.
Yeah, I'm just going to get the whole ham, just sit it on the barbecue for 2 days. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Stuff it with a few cloves.
No, just put some smoke in it and things. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but
So-
the ham thing they do, I mean, we don't really know how to cook the ham. And we've had people call up and say, this is what you do with your ham. And when you hear it, it sounds
Call it
very-
what, on the blower?
Yeah, on the blower. And it sounds quite good, doesn't it? Like, you know?
Yeah,
of
it
what,
does.
Of what they actually do. You know, they either smoke it or they baste it in something, roast it, you know. And yeah, I just thought you got the ham and cut it up. And I think the first year I got a ham, that's what I did. And I was like, oh, is that it?
Do you know what we've tried a couple of years? Because we've tried to get... We'll tell you about the US Christmas dinner in a minute. But we've really tried with our Kiwi Christmases, haven't we? And we've
Yeah.
been like, yeah, you know, get the Barbie on, Bri, get your shorts on and let's have something on the Barbie. And we've been desperate for years to have, you know, like really lovely big juicy prawns. And I can't find them. I can't find decent prawns in New Zealand.
Can't really find a decent prawn.
No.
I don't know what that is.
I
They're
don't.
quite wishy and watery, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to, you know, like back in the UK, you'd have prawns like for a starter or something. They were just like really tasty. I don't know.
Yeah, they had a sweetness to them
Yeah.
and just a taste to them. And
Yeah.
it's not how you cook them. You know, you cook them different ways, and they just did taste that wee bit better.
So
I don't
if
know
you've
what
got
that
a
is.
secret out there and you're thinking,
Yeah.
oh, I know where you can get some decent prawns, please let us know before the 25th because that would be nice.
Yeah, like biggish prawns, not the little
Yeah, not-
skinny-
yeah, the ones that
but
you
even
can
the
put on the
small
barbecue.
ones, like yeah.
Do you know what I wish, Bri? I wish we knew someone who could go and get us a lobster. That's what. Imagine that, right? Half a lobster, garlic butter,
Yeah.
lobster thermidor on the barbecue.
Yep. No, that would be nice.
The US, okay. So when we went to the US for Christmas,
I've got some peanuts here, by the way.
yeah, we're being a bit Christmassy. We've got our chocolate and peanuts out. They served turkey. Oh no, we had steak. We had steak when we went
Christmas
to
Day was steak.
Oh, that was lovely. That steak.
Because the turkey is more Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
And because we were there in the US for Thanksgiving, but that's the turkey day.
I'm surprised they're not still eating the leftovers.
They probably
I'm surprised they don't just turn it out again, like, you know, because
Yeah.
I've never known a country eat so many leftovers as the US.
We just went down to see some friends in Dunedin. They're Americans, and you go to a restaurant with them, and they just put everything that they don't eat on the day. It just goes into a box.
Yeah. We're looking at you, Miley and Brian. Anyway, listen, move on.
It's just alien to being English, having a doggy bag to take things home, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, you know, as they call it, or a box.
Anyway, we're digressing,
Anyway,
but
yeah.
so when we went to the US, it was all very warm and, you know, like we had steak and mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice, wasn't it,
That was
right?
lovely.
And carrots
Yep.
and all parsnips. And it was all very warm food, very comforting food.
Yes, huge amounts of
Yeah.
food and drink and everything. It was good, wasn't it?
Which makes me think, this is what I've been thinking about. I wonder if you have a Kiwi Christmas, you're going to eat less, you're going to eat healthier because the summer's coming.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like, you know, like Christmas Day, like normally, like, you know, you just like
Yeah.
bloated in England and the
I
US
have to
and
admit,
stuff.
at Christmas days here, you don't feel so much like that.
No.
You just don't, do you? Because, well, I don't know. I think because you can just get up and go out for a walk or stuff like that. I know you can in England, but
I know.
it's just you tend not to, don't you? Like, you know,
Yeah.
you just kind of like food, in by the telly, watch a film, and then more food and watch another film.
Yeah.
That's what we kind of, or, you know, watch your favourite series or something like
It's
that.
weird, isn't it? Because Christmas in the UK was all, and also when we were there in the US, it was all very about eating as much as you can.
That's what it is.
And
It's-
drinking as much as
yeah.
you can and just vegging out. That is
Yeah.
what Christmas Day is, isn't it? You don't want to be going off. We're not one of these, let's go for a walk on Christmas. No, thanks. Don't want to go for a walk on Christmas Day. Just want to sit on the couch with a box of roses, don't
Yeah,
you,
but that's what
Brian?
it's a feast. That's the
Yeah.
whole idea, is a feast, isn't it? Like, you
But
know?
New Zealand, you sort of like feel guilty, don't you? Because it's like they're all off doing their fun things.
Yeah,
and-
you can get down the beach if you
Yeah.
want, and, you know, try out your new surfboard or whatever it is that you've got for Christmas. You know, that's the good thing, is if you buy outdoor, you know, you get yourself a bike or something like that, you could use it. It's not like cold and windy.
What do you
and
like
damp.
to do on Christmas Day, Brian? Do
What
you
do I
like to
like
go
to-
for a bike in your underpants?
Yes, I do. I love to get the bike out when it's raining.
No, come on. What do you like to do?
What's my
Christmas
favourite-
Day,
Christmas
every
Day?
year in New Zealand for the last 12 years. Tell the people what you do every Christmas Day.
Well, it's not every day.
Don't
that's
lie.
Don't, little waggy finger.
Don't lie. Come on, quickly. It shouldn't
What do
take
you-
more than a second.
What? I don't really know what you're talking about. Are you talking about when I make breakfast for everyone?
I'm not saying-
No?
no, I'm not
Make dinner for
saying-
everybody?
no, I'm not
No,
saying
are you talking about when I'm actually collapsed on the sofa and watch some old war films?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Me
what-
and Kev like to
Yeah.
watch old war films.
That's what you do
and
on
it's funny
Christmas
because
Day.
we even watched Apocalypse. What is it? Apocalypse Now last year. And Sonny just came in and started watching it, and he said, "Well, what film are we watching this year?" Yeah,
Sonny's our son,
So
by the
Von
way.
Brian's Express, where where Eagles Dare, and all those
So, okay.
sort of films.
So food, better, cold Christmas in New Zealand or Christmas in the US? Which better food? Just quickly answer.
Better food.
God,
Liz.
Quickly answer.
Quickly answer. Oh, it's a hard one.
I'm going to say US. US.
I'll say New Zealand,
Why?
just for the hell of it.
Okay.
Yeah, just so we get some Americans commenting like.
I just like the warmness and the richness and the cozy, lots of rich, creamy.
But MJ and Mark were the best hosts to go to
Yes,
at Christmas.
they
If
were.
you're ever in America, go and see MJ and Mark, and they'll look after you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, number 2. Okay, the Christmas tree. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
So
Lots of new spring growth on it,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird.
the big thing we noticed, and when we moved to New Zealand, I think I've told you before, the kids had just started. We moved in the August. So we moved in the August. We settled in Okura in September. And so Christmas was on us quickly. And it just felt so alien. It was just warm. It was just like, what is this? This isn't Christmas. It doesn't feel Christmassy. So I went to a woman at school. I think I've told you before. I went to a woman at school and I just said, look, what can I do to make it Christmassy? And she said, you do know about going and picking your own Christmas tree, don't you? And taking the kids out there with a little hacksaw and getting your own Christmas tree. And I was like, what? You don't just buy your Christmas tree from the shop? Bearing in mind, we've always had a real Christmas tree. We're not artificial Christmas tree people.
No, but it's a business, and you want to support the local businesses, and they're growing to be cut and growing to be cut, growing to be cut.
Yeah.
So there's always something growing, and they've got fields where they're growing up. So it's not like it's not sustainable. So it's a very good way of
Good
of
point,
doing that.
Brian. Good
There we
point.
go. A lot of people say I don't like cutting a tree down, and it's like, yeah, I know, I understand that, I can
Yeah.
understand it, but hey, it's a business, and it's
Yeah.
once
We
a
like
year.
supporting that little
Yeah.
man and lady, don't we, out there? But anyway, so she sent us out to this farm, to this lady and man that's out in New Plymouth. And literally, you turned up and it was like, okay, here's a typical Kiwi. Here's a hacksaw. Never mind about
Yeah.
the fact you've got a
No
5-year-old
health,
with you.
no health and safety. Who'd like to cut it down? Or
Yeah.
Sonny's like running off with his bow saw, like,
Yeah. They're not the same Christmas trees as they are in the US either. So I haven't done my research or my homework, but this is a New Zealand
pine
Christmas
thing.
tree.
Yeah.
And, like the trees in the US, they've got like those little sharp, spiky, like...
Yeah, the needles are spiky.
Yeah.
These are super soft. It's just like I don't know what type of tree it is. It's probably just
But the good thing
pine
about
tree.
these is I don't think they lose their...
They don't lose hardly any needles, do they?
Lose their needles, no.
No, they don't.
The other thing you could do if you wanted to be sustainable, Bri, is buy one in a pot and then replant it
Yeah.
outside. That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And it's a big family day out. We always, like this year, we took our
Yep.
kids and their
Yep.
girlfriends and boyfriends, and it's a family day out, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it's a great day
just-
out. It's just like I'm hunting the tree, because if you leave it too late, you just can't find the tree, can you? And
Flipping Kiwis, they're there, aren't they? I reckon they've been there since October.
They must go from the year before
Yeah,
and
they
put
have.
a white label on it, and that's mine. And it's just like,
Because we went on the 1st of December this year, all the smoke, thinking, oh yeah, we're going to be
We'll be
early.
one of the first ones.
And nearly all of them just gone,
yeah,
haven't we?
all the big ones are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only downside to having a Christmas tree in New Zealand is that because it's sunny, and if you live in a house with windows, because you wouldn't live in a house without windows, the sun comes in and it wilts it a bit, doesn't
Yeah,
it? It
this
sort of
thing
makes it
goes
droop a
through
bit.
about 2 litres of water a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Christmas tree in America or the UK, the fire's on because it's freezing, and I used to
It's the
think...
same sort of thing,
I
isn't
know,
it? Or
I
next
used
to the
think-
radiator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you'd have this lovely little spruce Christmas tree, and then it'd start to go like this.
Yeah, or you just knock it and they go, and all the needles fall off.
I know. So we have just got to say as well that if you've never been to New Zealand at Christmas time in the summertime, the Pohutakawa is the New Zealand Christmas tree.
It's a bit like the poinsettia plant, isn't
Yeah.
it? That you get that is all red. This Pohutakawa has these red flowers. They just
It's
we
just
we have got
gorgeous.
some footage.
Yeah,
of that, I think,
and
haven't
it's
we?
gorgeous,
It's
and that's called the
absolutely
New
gorgeous.
Zealand Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So
It's a big evergreen tree, but this time of year, from sort of November, December time, it just starts to
Yeah.
flower, and you just think, yeah, that's Christmas is coming.
and you get so excited when you see
Yeah.
it. It's got little tight buds, and then just start there. You get so excited
and
watching
even
them
if
open,
there's,
don't you?
there's quite a few in the city, and just all over the sidewalks, it's just this almost like velvet, little tiny I
Like
don't
red
know,
needles.
needles, aren't they?
Yeah, sort of
they're
thing.
just so soft and lovely.
Right. Okay. So number 3, Father Christmas, or do they call it Father Christmas in New Zealand? They call it
It's-
Santa. Bit American
Yeah, it's
Santa,
got a
isn't
bit
it?
American-y, yeah.
What you
Yeah.
do in New Zealand? It's Father Christmas, isn't it?
Always Father Christmas.
Yeah.
Or, it's not Santa Claus. It's Father Christmas.
Santa Claus. Oh, God.
It's whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And for the younger audience that are watching, when I was making these points, I thought, we probably might have some younger people in the audience, like,
Yes.
20-year-olds or whatever. And just
doesn't
want you
really matter,
to
does it?
know
What-
that
what year you are.
you've got to be a
Yeah.
good girl or boy, because
Yeah.
Father Christmas does come to you in New Zealand. And yes, it
does.
is true that Father Christmas comes to you first when you're in New Zealand.
Yeah, and over, if we could jump to that one, see there's a black, that's the chimney. He's skinny here as well. You can get down those wood burners, no problem.
So here's the thing we came up with in relation to Father Christmas when we first moved to New Zealand. It stays light until about, 9:30?
Yes, it
So
does.
when you've got little kids in New Zealand, they won't go to bed because it's so light.
Yeah, they never really get to see the Christmas tree in the
No.
dark.
And children, you must go to bed so Mummy and Daddy can have a drink and just, talk to Father Christmas about how good you've been
Yes.
all year.
Yeah, seeing is believing. Don't ever forget that.
But in America or the UK, it was both the same. It's like great because 4:30, 5 o'clock,
Yeah, it's
pitch
going
black.
dark, isn't it? Yeah.
Which brings us to the point about the Christmas lights as well.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing. In New Zealand, you have to wait until it goes dark
Yeah,
to
for
see
the
lights.
little kids. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter because it's the summer holidays. The kids break up like 2 weeks before Christmas, don't they? And then they're off for the whole of January.
Yeah.
So, they do get to see these things. We have the Festival of Lights here in New Plymouth. And
Oh, we should talk about that, Brian. Let's talk about the lights at Christmas.
yeah, so that's what, and they've followed the American way where, people are starting to light up their houses. And it's fantastic. I know they were doing it in the UK before we left, and even I used to put things in trees and stuff
Yeah,
like
we
that
join
outside
in,
the
don't
house.
we?
Yeah, for sure. But they, I know when the first time I ever went to America was to Florida, back in 1988, and I just remember my brother taking me to these houses, and I just could not believe it. It was like something out of the Griswolds.
Yeah.
It really, really was,
Yeah.
and they're still doing it now. And we went there last time we were over there, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, to actually see it.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
So you see the films, like Bryce said, the Griswolds and things, and you always think, don't you? Oh, I bet it's not really like that. It is.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is exactly like that.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that when we were in America and we went to that? I know you just said about Florida, but do you remember the one in? Oh no, it was the Florida one that we went to, and it was
Yeah.
just like everywhere, just all these lights, and people taking their kids and drinking hot chocolate, and it's just like the film.
It's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever that is in centigrade, and
Florida.
in Florida,
Yeah.
and you're walking around, aren't you? When we were in Rochester, it was just thick snow.
Yeah.
So you didn't really want to drive around. You just wanted to stay at home around the fire, didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
And talking about Father Christmas as well, have we moved on from Father Christmas? Yeah, you're talking about Father Christmas because we're still on that, aren't we? But it's a bit weird, Bri, how Father Christmas in New Zealand wears jandals
Yep.
and
Flip-flops.
and sunglasses. And I wonder what it was like growing up in New Zealand when you were a child to see all these traditional Father Christmas, Santa Claus images of the man with the big white beard and the big coat. Would you be thinking
he's going to get a bit hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's magical. So, and
I know he's
that's why he
magical,
loves
yeah.
to. New Zealand is his first place he comes to in the world.
Yeah.
Because this is the first country really in the world to see sunrise. Because we are 12 hours
I
ahead.
think Gisborne
of GMT.
is the first country in the world.
It's one of
isn't it?
the first cities in the in the world to see the sunrise.
Yeah.
So obviously this is where he starts off, and then goes to Australia, but he doesn't really spend much time in Australia because they're all bad. And then he heads off to somewhere else,
Just that whole cold, snowy I know some of you have said to us, "Oh no, give me a warm Christmas any day."
Yeah.
What do you think, Brian? Snowy or?
Do you know what? I love both, but I've got used to the sunshiny type feel to it, and it's just more uplifting. It really is. It just is, like, and I just think Boxing Day.
No, don't talk about Boxing Day. That's on our list.
Okie dokie. Then yes.
Okie dokie. Moving on. Okie dokie.
Moving on.
Never said okie dokie before, Brian. Number 4, Boxing Day in New Zealand.
Genius.
So, this is just weird. Well, for a start, in the US, get this, don't celebrate Boxing Day.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we were like, should we go to the Boxing Day sales? What do you mean? What's Boxing? They just go back to work day after Christmas, back to work.
Off they go. Yeah.
Whereas in the UK and in New Zealand, we celebrate Boxing Day. Yeah. It's a holiday, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
But one thing I've never ever been able to get my head around is what are these people that come Christmas? Some of them, Bri, camp out on Christmas night outside the shops to get to the Boxing Day. I've never seen anyone do that in New Zealand, but to get to the Boxing Day sales.
Yeah,
how weird is that?
They won't even buy each other presents because they're gonna just go and get the sales.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but I suppose you can get double the amount of stuff.
I'd hate it if you did that for me. Imagine that. What have I got for Christmas? Pardon?
Did I not show you?
What have I got for Christmas, Brian? Nothing, because you're going to get it on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Bit weird. It's a bit stingy, isn't it?
It is, because it's just kind of, that's the magic of Christmas, is giving the gifts on the day, isn't it? You know? But hey, it's everyone to their own. That's what people love to do.
Yeah. What?
Well,
give presents after Christmas?
Well, save the money and go to the sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you do that?
Yeah, but they used to film it in the UK, didn't they? The people would camp out in sleeping bags because I remember seeing this one year. There was a TV right not far in, and it was £1.
Pound?
£1 for a television.
Oh, what city was that in?
Oh, London, probably.
Was it? London?
Yeah, and they just literally ran out. It was almost like a fight, and I think they pushed the TV over just so they could buy it for £1. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think it's quite... But saying that, the Kiwis do like to get a bit of a bargain, so you will see them...
We all love a bargain, don't we? You could always go to the warehouse for that.
Yeah, but America, no, they don't. There won't be any shopping to be done on Boxing Day because they're all back at work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Right, number 5. I like this one. So... here's the thing. Kiwi Christmas. Christmas in New Zealand, it's first day of summer in New Zealand is the 1st of December, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
yeah. So it's the summer holidays. You know, the kids, like Bryce said, it's Christmas, the kids break up, you've got 6 weeks or all of January off, probably longer than 6 weeks, and it's the summer. And that feels so gorgeous, doesn't it?
It does, because the country as a whole closes. I mean, you know, everything's going.
He's not exaggerating.
All essential services are going, but the majority of people take a month off. They really do. They can throw all their holiday, and not everybody, because obviously people have got to work, like, you know.
Are you just talking like about tradies or?
Oh, there's so many places, Liz, that, you know, even just you know, like the plumbers merchants, they won't open till the 15th of January sometimes.
Won't they?
Unless, you know, you're like the skeleton service, which there might be one or two guys in there, but the majority of people just, that's it.
Yeah,
They're
because
off.
they're having a break because it's the summer.
It's their main summer holiday and Christmas break all in one.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. You've just said it. Yeah. And that's why I think the US Christmas, or like, you know, a Northern Hemisphere Christmas, I kind of feel, Bright, that's not better, but they get it's not fair because they get 2 big celebrations in the year, which we kind of miss out on in New Zealand.
Well, you do, yes, but...
Do you see what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Because, you know, they've got Christmas
thing, there's
and
nothing,
then summer holidays in July, and it's like, yay, 2 celebrations. But here it's like, yay, all one celebration. And then you get to June and July and you're like, well, what have we got to look forward to?
I know, yeah. But the
Do you agree?
Yes, but you've got your Christmas and New Year, which is just one big holiday. Yeah. And then now you're going to go on your summer holiday.
Yeah, but it's all moulded into one.
I know, but sometimes it's better to have that.
It's like having your birthday on Christmas Day. How rubbish would that be?
That'd be crap, wouldn't it? I just hate to have my birthday in December.
I know. I feel so sorry for them.
Just the one present this year.
Yeah.
It's combined.
We've got you an extra big one because it's combined. Yeah. No, it's not true,
We're waiting
is it?
for the sales.
Yeah. So, I kind of feel like we're being a bit ripped off by having it all in one. Some people in New Zealand, right, get this. Some people, like when they've moved over from the UK or America or something, they do this thing in June, June 21st.
Or June 25th, something like that.
And they do this thing where they pretend it's Christmas and they put...
I know. Some people, will go up into the mountains to get the snow and put a Christmas tree up. Yeah.
Where? Where can you go up in the mountains? Do you mean go up into the ski resort?
Up into the...
Yeah, would you do that,
South Island's got the Southern Alps. It's got a huge mountain range. Yeah.
I feel as if you're being a bit against me on this podcast, Brian. I'm trying to
You've sort of almost like... You've already said that the American food is better than the Kiwi food.
No, I just said the experience of it, yeah.
The experience, yeah. And
as in there's more of it and it's more rich.
Now you're saying that you'd rather actually have 2 celebrations a year instead of just the one.
Yeah, I would. But I don't want to do that weird thing.
It's just sounding to me like this was just supposed to be like, talk about the New Zealand sort of
is New Zealand Christmas better, which I'm giving you the other side of it.
Yeah.
No, well, we haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
So, it's just some people do, and I'm all for anyone doing anything that they like. It's always a great idea in the middle of June, to put your Christmas tree up and pretend it's Christmas. But I kind of get it.
I can get it, because it goes dark at 5, 6 o'clock, so you can see why they would like to have a Christmas tree light. Yeah, I mean, I put lights up in all the bushes out in the garden. You keep pointing out there because the garden's out there. And... they've just been on all summer because it's so nice, and all winter, I should say. Yeah, because they just come on when it goes dark, and that's it. It switch off about 11:30 at night. Yeah.
All right then. So that's that point anyway. So that was number 5. Right, number 6. This is the last one. Oh, well, hang on. Was that the one? Yeah, number 6. This is the last one now. How are we doing for time?
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So number 6 is in the UK and in the US. I've been told is the same. Is you want to just make it last forever because you've got nothing to look forward to, because there is nothing more depressing than January the 1st in England. And I'm sorry, that is true, isn't it, Brian?
Well, it is, yeah.
It's just like, oh no, that's it, it's over.
Yeah, it's just cold, there's a flat light.
Yeah.
It's just chances
it's
raining,
miserable.
not even snowing, and it's chilly and cold, and it's just like you spend a fortune for that, thing, and there's nothing to look forward to. So that's that. You have that down feeling, and not only that, you've got to go back to work.
I know.
And the kids are going back.
When do you go back to work in the UK? When do you go back to work?
Well, you get New Year's Day, and it literally can be the following day. Because even Scotland get an extra day.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it is flipping depressing.
But here we get New Year's Day and then New Year's Day observed. So you get 2 days at New Year as well.
Yeah.
So this is the great thing this year. It's a Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, it's always the same for Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So it's Saturday for Christmas Day, Boxing Day's on the Sunday, and then you get the Monday, Tuesday off, and then it's New Year's Day on the Saturday. So you only need to take 3 days of your holiday off, and you've got... like 10 days of holiday. You only take 6 days, you've got 2 weeks off instead of taking 10 days holiday. So it's brilliant this year.
And all the Kiwis go camping. They're huge into camping. Yep. So it's like, get your tree down as quickly as possible and let's get on with enjoying the summer. That's how it feels. Yep. Doesn't it? Like we've never been, we never regret taking the tree down in New Zealand because it's like that's the start of, that's it now.
Yeah,
have a good clean
open
up.
up the windows and away. It's
Brian has
summer,
a good clean out and says, right, Liz, come on, we're ready for our summer holiday.
Off we go, hey?
But like I say, Northern Hemisphere, you're trying to hold on for it as long as possible.
Yep.
Do you remember that year, Brian, when we had that I loved that year. We were in quite a lot of debt, weren't we? And we sat down, I think it was on about the 2nd of January, we got all our credit card bills out and stuff, and we were like, we made this thing, we were like, right.
We were renovating a house at the time, we didn't have 2 pennies to rub together.
Are you talking about the same time?
Jubilee Street?
No, I wasn't talking about then.
Oh, right.
No, oh no, that was a terrible time. That was like, we sat and nearly, we were so depressed. No, I'm talking about the positive time, Brian, in Beechwood House, when we got all our bills out and we were just, I don't know what came over us. We were like, right, we're going to sort this out. We're going to pay this much for that a month. We're going to stop doing that. We're going to get extra hours there. Do you remember?
Yeah,
we're going to sell a load of stuff, secondhand stuff. And we did it. And it was just like the best year. I don't know if that was the year before we were planning on moving to New Zealand.
It wasn't far off coming here, yeah.
We just got it in our heads that we were just going to start afresh. We were going to clear all our debts. Yeah. I never forget that. That was the one New Year that wasn't depressing, because it was exciting, because it was like, right, we're going to really work at this. Anyway, we're keeping this a nice positive podcast, because it says Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's depressing in January.
Scrooge.
If you dream of moving to New Zealand, then you are going to love what I'm about to share with you. 12 years ago, when me and Bri emigrated to New Zealand, we were scouring the internet, trying to find any information that we could about what our life would be like when we got here. And basically all we had was YouTube. So we made this vow. We said, when we get to New Zealand, we're going to create something that we can share with others that answers those questions that you're so desperate to know about. Like, what is your life going to be like when you get here? And that's what I'm here to offer you today. We have created a 5-day free, absolutely free video guide that shows you what it's really like to live in New Zealand. This stuff is unique and it is fabulous. You are not going to find it anywhere else on the internet. And like I say, it's absolutely free. You'll be sent a video every day for 5 days and you will know what it's like in New Zealand. So head over to the website. It's www.nzahead.com/free. One more time, that's www.nzahead.com/free. You are going to love it. So before we go, before we tell you which one we think is best, I've got to share this with you, right? Okay, you're not going to believe this. This week, we got our early Christmas present, because we get a package through the post, in the letterbox, and all it said was Liz and Brian Deacle, and said our address, and on the back it said Pat and then a phone number.
That was it.
That was it. We're like, who's this from? We opened it up and it was full. I'm going to show you some footage. It was full of seeds for the garden. Thousands of seeds for flowers and poppies, marigolds, all these flowers you can think of. This lady had sent to us
all
through
from her
the
own
post.
garden,
from her own garden,
and collections that she's been doing, things like that. So it's amazing, isn't it? To
it
actually
is.
think someone would send you these things.
And so I phoned her up because her number's on the back, and I'm like, oh, hello, can I speak to Pat, please? And she's like, hello, Liz. And I was like, hello, and she just said, anyway, we got chatting, and she's like, I'm just being a typical Kiwi. I saw your garden, I can see you like gardening, and I've got loads of seeds, and I sent them to you. No worries. And I was like, oh. That is just New Zealand,
That's New Zealand,
isn't
for
it?
you. Yeah.
That is Kiwis for you. Mm-hmm. It's just... And you know what, Pat? You made our flipping day, didn't you, Brian?
It was, heart of gold. That's it.
It was, and it was just... So I've said to Pat, right, in the summer, I'm going to Brian's going to get out there in his underpants and his spade, and he's going to dig a nice big garden for us, aren't you, Brian?
Yeah.
While you're there, you can dig the mouldy pit as well and throw some hang in. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do a podcast, and we're going to have all these flowers in the background, and you can see it. It's just, I can't believe it.
No,
so
I couldn't believe it. It was just lovely, wasn't it? Yeah.
Be honest, when you were in America and compared to New Zealand, well, you don't need to compare it, but when you're in America, did you get a feeling? So we went in 2018, Trump was in power, everyone was telling us, America's just a mess, everyone's angry. Did you get a feeling when you were there at Christmas that it was like hostile and everyone was like, No. Neither did I. No. I loved it.
They're just normal people just getting on with life.
Yeah. I absolutely loved it. It was a real feeling. We went sledging and, just did all these Christmassy things.
The thing is, we wanted to, because the kids grew up in New Zealand, they can't remember a cold Christmas, really.
No.
So, I'd asked my cousin any chance to come and stay with us, and he went, do you know what, Brian? It doesn't snow at Christmas. And I'm like, whoa, I always thought it did. He's like, it's always January, February.
Oh, not coming then, bye.
When it snows. But we turned up, this cold snap had come through, lake effect snow, because it was right by the Great Lakes. And it just got dumped on, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then we were driving through the snow to get to his house, and we turned up, and it's just this winter wonderland, and they're just waving at the door as we turned up. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But we've got someone on. We've got a private New Zealand community group. That, by the way, if you sign up for that free 5-day guide, that will give you instructions on how to get into that community group. It's just for people moving to New Zealand, though. So if you already live in New Zealand, it's not going to be for you. But we've got someone there called Randy, and he lives in Canada, and he's a no, his wife is a Kiwi.
Yes.
He's Canadian,
Yep.
and they're moving back to New Zealand next year, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
And
Well,
he
they are.
sent us pictures of where he lives in Canada, and it's just beautiful. They live on a lake. It's all snowy. It just looks picturesque.
Yeah.
But he said to us, Liz, you know, it is fine for a couple of weeks or even a month, but it starts to get you really down. It's like I cannot stand another winter of this. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah, but I remember when we were living in Whistler, we were working in a ski resort, and we didn't see green grass for almost 6 months. I can remember driving down, and we were going back to Vancouver, or down to Vancouver, and it's just like, oh my goodness, green grass.
Yeah.
It was just amazing, wasn't it? It's just, and it is. It's, you know, I remember having to dig out to get out of the house because the snow was 12 foot high.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, it all fallen off the roof, hadn't it, as well? And it was a bit of a nightmare. You couldn't get out of the house. Crazy.
Well, when we were working in Whistler, I mean, it's time to wrap up now, but just to tell you, we did a Christmas there, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were running a ski chalet, hosting a ski chalet, cooking for people. And that was the only Christmas ever that Boxing Day I got up and we went to the gym. Do you remember that? And we were so blooming smug. We were like, oh, look at us at the gym on Boxing Day. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Obnoxious, weren't we?
Yeah, because they celebrate Boxing Day. in
We're like,
Canada,
oh,
don't
at
they?
least we're not at home stuffing our face. Oh, do they celebrate Boxing Day in Canada?
I'm pretty sure they do, yeah.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
might
remember
be
that
wrong,
Christmas.
but I'm pretty sure they do.
We didn't have kids, and we were just young, free, and single, weren't we? And we're just like, yeah, it was a good Christmas. That it was
Yeah,
nice, wasn't it?
It was great, and it snowed on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I love Whistler. I love Canada. Anyway, right. So before we wrap up, which do you prefer? Christmas in New Zealand, which is better? Christmas in New Zealand or Christmas in the US?
Well, the first few years in New Zealand, I didn't really like Christmas.
Right.
Because it never felt right. And I always like, nope, prefer a cold Christmas, much better. You know, going to German markets when it's frosty and cold and drinking Glühwein and stuff like that, and have all those sort of things. And that side of it is lovely because it's dark at 5 o'clock and things like that. But after being in New Zealand, I feel I don't spend half as much money on Christmas.
That's a good point.
Which is
That's
true.
a good point.
Because
Should
you're
have
always
talked about
thinking
that.
you're going to go on holiday afterwards, so
Yeah.
kind of like spread the money through or this, that and the other. And the more and more I've lived in New Zealand, the last sort of 5-6 years, it's just, I just really enjoy it now.
You love it.
Yeah. I mean, not every time it's blistering hot on Christmas Day.
No, especially not in the necky.
It can just be miserable and damp. It makes me laugh. The time your sister over in Gisborne, which it would have probably been 35, 40 degrees centigrade, and she lit the wood burner, closed all the curtains,
Oh God!
and put some
That
Christmas
sounds about
films
right.
on, and all they did all the presents
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And she said we just came piling out of the house about 11 or 12 o'clock because it was so hot.
Oh really?
Yeah, and just had to get some fresh air, and it was so hot outside. So, people do try and recreate those sort of cold Christmassy things, but realistically.
So you're going to say New Zealand then?
I'm going to say New Zealand. After living it and trying it, because I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, no, I love my cold Christmases. Well, you don't know until you've tried the hot Christmas,
I'm going to say I prefer the New Zealand. Am I allowed to say two parts? I prefer the New Zealand after the Christmas,
Yes.
after
Yeah,
Christmas.
the
but
run-up.
actually, Christmas Day, Bri, I prefer the cold Christmas.
cold Christmas,
I do.
yeah.
I do. And the reason for that is because I feel as if a cold Christmas brings everyone together more. You can't go outside. You're stuck in the house with everyone.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds a bit like, oh, that's a bit of a weird thing to say, but in the summer, the kids will go off down the beach, your husband's on the barbecue, the girls are sitting down in the garden having a glass of wine. I don't know, there isn't that.
Yeah, you do sort of
togetherness.
segregate
You do.
because you've got all the outside space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas I found that in America and also the UK, you're just in the front room, aren't you, really?
Well, you are. In front room watching telly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from up north, that accent, by the way.
So we hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have
Yes.
loved making it for you. I mean, I feel a little bit like, what's he called? That Des Esmond. Des
Esmond.
Remember that host show with that guy, and he was called Des? And he'd
Des
sit
O'Connor.
there, and he'd sit there with his
Why are you looking at that?
I was just thinking, why Des O'Connor? I don't
Because
know.
he used to sit next to a Christmas tree and
Did
he
he?
always had his Christmas jumper on, yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't think they get Des O'Connor in New Zealand.
No.
Is he American?
No, he was
Oh.
English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
Why?
Yeah, because I don't really remember seeing Des O'Connor doing that at Christmas.
Don't you? Christmas show?
Maybe you just did, yeah.
Yeah, he'd sit next to a Christmas tree and
Right.
play his guitar or something, wouldn't he?
Are you sure you don't think of the American guy?
What?
I can't remember his name now.
No.
Andy Williams?
What?
No? I
No,
don't know.
anyway. Okay. Oh, Ryan, right, okay, give me a hot flush. Until we see you over there, you have a fantastic Christmas.
Yes.
Obviously, we're going to see you before Christmas Day.
Obviously. Yeah.
But just wanted to say that we love you so much. This year has been our year that we've discovered a community of people, not just through the podcast, but through YouTube too.
I know. And that's the thing. It's just like everyone out there who spends time writing those comments, just thank you so much. Because, you know, me and Liz go through those things and we just read it, just like, look at this, read this. And it's just like, you know, there's loads of you out there, and just please keep doing what you're doing, because it just makes us feel warm inside that we've got a, you know, you hear so many sort of horror stories on YouTube with people, you know, the trolls, the this, that, and the other. But I'm just saying, it's just fantastic to see such good positivity, like, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of trolls on there.
Yeah, but you know, it's so nice to get that community of what we have.
It is, yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm only playing. I'm just joking. Until then, we're going to say have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Love to you all.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Kia kaha. Stay strong. See you soon.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast this week. We have loved having you here with us.
If you love this week's show, please share this with your friends. Send it to anybody you know that wants to think about moving to New Zealand, and get on over here yourself.
And tell them how brilliant it is as well. And also, if you haven't signed up for our free 5-day video guide showing you what life is like, really like, in New Zealand, then go over to the website and sign up. You are missing out. This is brilliant. Go over to www.nzahead.com/free and we will send you 5 days worth of videos about what life is like in New Zealand. You are going to love it. So one more time, that website that you need to sign up for the free 5-day guide is www.nzahead.com/free. So we're going to see you next week. Until then, have a great week, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye again. Bye.
Bye.